All right. Ladies, just the ladies. Ladies and gentlemen, can you hear me? The date is June 22nd, 2019. Let me make sure the stream doesn't look scuffed. It looks fine to me so far. Fingers crossed. Ladies and gentlemen, how is everybody doing today? June 22nd, beautiful day, glorious day outside, bright, sunny. Birds are chirping.
Yeah, it's nice here.
Getting closer, guys. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. In Belgium too? Is it hot?
Right now it's okay. Next week it's gonna be extremely hot. Ooh. So we will see.
Yeah, it's up there here. It's almost 100 right now.
Damn.
How's it in Philly? Is it nice?
Yeah, you know what it is? Yeah. It's now officially summer. That means we are officially in the time of Classic WoW.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
It's true. We're getting closer.
It's getting closer and closer. Every time you go to sleep, it's almost coming.
Can't stop time. Can't stop time, right? They nothing they can do about it. Like, the time will just keep ticking. I know it's dragging though. Oh, dude, you don't have a name tag, dude. You don't have a name tag.
A man has no name.
Yo, where's Melderon's damn name tag, though? There had to be something scuffed. There's always something scuffed, dude. There always has to be
Melderon.
Melderon's
name ran away.
Let me find it. All right, as I find Melderon's name tag. Defcamp, my guy. How you doing today, Defcamp?
I'm doing pretty good, baby. I'm doing
Yo,
pretty good.
Defcamp, are you ready?
We're in the season. We're in the season of Classic WoW.
Are you ready to bless these fine people with a power of a power word fortitude, a loud and thunderous greetings to get the show started right? Are you ready? Are you high energy? You good to go?
Are they ready? Are they ready? They got their monitor, their shit turned down just in case. I want to blow out everybody's speakers.
Everybody turn it up, man. Take an L.
You guys ready?
Just time to take go. Hit him whenever you're ready.
It is time for Good Morning Azeroth. Episode number 23. How the hell you doing, boys?
Didn't break your mic there.
Didn't peek out. Yeah, didn't peek out. Hold on. I'm finding a name tag. 1 second. That was great. You get better every time. Hold on. I'll find it.
Hi, my name is Melderon.
Hello, real Melderon, please stand up.
Keep talking. I'm finding his main name tag.
He doesn't have any pants on, so don't stand up.
Stream assets. There we go.
I do have like pajama pants on, so yeah.
Wow. Every time Melderon comes up my room and he'll be talking, I'll be on the stream and I'll be like, dude, where are your pants at? You know, they can't see. It doesn't matter. like, yeah, but you're right next to me.
Okay, I unscuffed it. You have a name tag again.
Oh my god, look how big it is. Okay.
I shrank it.
Okay.
You shrank it, yeah.
Okay, guys, I hope you're doing really good. Whoops, I'm already showing the blood shards of Agamagagan. Okay, we'll talk about that later, though. All right, guys, so I'm really excited. 23. Have we really done 23? Damn, man.
I know, man.
How many weeks is that? That's. I'm no rocket scientist here like Melderon, but that's almost half a year, right? 52 weeks in a year, almost. 23 weekly, almost at the halfway point.
Yeah, I think we started in November, something like that.
Damn.
By the way, someone asks, what kind of cat do you have? It's like, it's a normal street cat.
It goes meow. It says meow.
It's the kind that has claws and
most
people.
Yeah, he's quite heavy, like 8.5 kilograms, which is a lot for a cat. Yeah, but
I don't know how many that is in American.
You multiply it by 2.2.
Oh, okay, there you go. That's yeah.
Clownster, did you hear from North that there is AoE leeway now? Interesting. I have not heard that. That is interesting. I'm sure we will be discussing that on the Magus cast tomorrow.
Yeah, there's two important things. That it's the leeway plus the hitbox differential for Tauren, which is actually sex specific. There is a sexual dimorphism with even the hitbox radius.
Wow.
Yeah, back in the day, I thought that the female and male had the same, but apparently male is a little bit bigger.
Someone did someone. I gotta find that video. It's so well done. Where he actually figures it out. It's I'll look for it.
But that's very interesting.
Cool, actually. Yeah.
All right. So this stream, ladies and gentlemen, no meme competition this week. I done goofed. I didn't have time. It's gonna be a mixed bag of just kind of miscellaneous topics. With that said, we do have kind of like a rolling list of topics. If you guys want us to talk about, talk about anything in particular, you know, put stuff in the chat, and we'll see if we can talk about it. So let's start off though. Okay, we kind of already did the intros. Everybody's doing good, right? Everybody's doing great. Of course, you're doing great. So we did the catch up. Let's talk about the state of the game, the current hype levels. the current communication with Blizzard. Let's talk about where we are right now on June 22nd right now. What are you guys feeling? A lot of this is like more of a feeling type thing, you know, like I don't know. Yeah.
So I could start because I will start with a negative thing, I guess, and then you guys can go positive. So in the EU, I feel the hype is really low, and that's basically because most of us are not in the beta, and we didn't have a stress test. And I feel like it's never been lower actually since the beta launched.
Wow.
So, yeah. Now I'm not having that much time lately because of exams in school and stuff. So personally, my hype is a little bit lower, but I feel like in the guild and everyone I speak to, tell the same thing. So I think it will get higher again, and in the end, it might be a good thing actually that we didn't get into stress tests and betas. So
it's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah. I think I think you guys are going to be. I kind of envy you in a way, Dunedain, because like, you know, the beta has, I mean, I've been spending most of my time testing stuff like spell coefficients, so I really have been having a lot of fun, to be honest. I mean, it's fun to me, but I haven't really been able to do anything like fun for a long time, because as soon as I hit 40, I was like, all right, I gotta go to work now. So I've been trying to test coefficients and building the a tool that we're working on, which I won't tell you what that is yet until the video comes out. But it's like I have been totally like almost, what's the word? When you watch too much violence, desensitized to the hype, right? And I kind of
hype fatigue. Hype fatigue. We talked about this before. It's our branded term here. Yeah.
So, I gotta say though, go ahead, man. I'll finish.
I think you're in a pretty good spot. I mean, like, I know the EU people don't want to get in the stress test, but honestly, like, that's not what the game's going to play like. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I think like you're going to have a really good, clean version of the game you'll be able to play. So,
on the other side of that, though, I do want to say that I know I feel bad, but this last stress test was really nice to be able to play with a lot of people that are in our community, and I would have loved being able to play with you as well. But I gotta say, I probably had more fun in this last stress test than I have in the past month or so, because like I said, we just Kargoz and I we had that whole. Well, first of all, I got to do a level with Kargoz, which was I felt like I was in school. I was being schooled.
Sorry, I was a little bit intense. My bad, dude. My bad.
Yeah, no. It was awesome though. Like everyone in chat was saying that you opened their eyes to like a whole new, like just how you were telling me to die at certain places and all this. Because I usually take my time and level my way, and it was the first time I really got to do that. But I really appreciated it, and I really I was excited. But doing that and then having our little arena tournament, our duel tournament, and then I ended up getting the friggin' chest for the arena tournament, which was awesome.
You did.
I came in second in the duel tournament. That can't beat Shaman's level 15, baby. That's they're too hard. But it was just really nice being able to play with the community. I think that was what, for us at least, it had a lot of fun with that.
It was
something I'm fine with not being in the beta and stuff, but something I really miss is that I could not play with you guys, and that's basically the last chance to do it, except if I go on a US server.
Oh, we're making an EU account, dude.
Yeah. But,
they're gonna have one more stress test, and I heard, I don't know, like maybe someone can confirm. I heard that they were gonna do an EU stress test.
Wow. I hope they will. I think
an EU stress test. Let's back up a minute though. So people are saying like, yo, EU hype is so low. What's feels bad, man. Poor EU. People are seeing it in the chat. You've been seeing it circulate on trade chat and all these different places. Some people may not even understand what happened though, and I don't have the perfect understanding of it, but I will explain what I've heard through the grapevine to you guys. So pretty much, EU feels like they'd been left out of the beta. There was many more NA people invited to the beta. It felt like many more people from other countries potentially that were invited, but very few from EU were invited to the closed beta, streamable beta, whatever it is. That was already like a running kind of feeling for a couple weeks, right? Second thing is that, okay, this last stress test number 2, was available only to the Americas and Oceania. Now, before I continue explaining this, Dunedain, do you remember if stress test 1 was open to EU?
Yeah, it was.
It was. Okay, so that's bizarre. Okay, so something happened, I don't know why, but they weren't included in stress test number 2. And then you combine the fact that they weren't included in the stress test 2 with this whole thing that Blizzard made some post that maybe it was a CM or something. Where I saw it was on Reddit. They had this thread, and everyone was going crazy, losing their damn minds because they were saying that Blizzard's language towards communicating how many servers they were going to have for EU or how they were going to do EU was kind of very frustrating for some, because it made it seem like they were going to have several EU realms, and to a lot of people they were trying to read between the lines. It could have been an honest error, honestly, but they were saying several EU realms. Like, there are millions of people in Europe who love WoW, and we're going to be playing WoW, and you're telling us you're going to have several EU realms. It was almost disrespectful, making it seem like the hype was so low.
To counter, the word several means more than one.
I mean, it's more than 3, I thought.
No, several means more. Several. I'm looking up the definition right now.
Several, I thought means like I thought a few. I thought a couple was 2.
More than 2, but not many.
Oh,
according to.
Okay. But not many. It says that in there. Okay.
Like
so
several could be 10, right? Several could be 20. I don't know. I don't know the like. But when someone came into my chat was like several. They're only gonna have 3 or 4.
Yeah,
I was like,
more than 2, but not many, according to Google's dictionary. So.
That makes me worry, though. That makes me think, what are they going to have? You know, they're going to have like 6 really big servers that are like 10K popular. Like I hope not. I really.
Wow. No.
I don't know. Like I said, I think we need a hard cap.
It's just wording, right? Personally, I didn't take it too bad that post. So I was like, oh, it's good that we are not on the same language as the Russians.
Oh yeah. That was the last part of it. The last part of that post that was really frustrating to people, and this pretty much is completing everything I know about it up to this point, is that Blizzard, I guess, either implied or expressly stated that EU realms were just going to be all European countries in these realms. They weren't going to be segmented out toward, this is a German realm, this is a French realm, this is an Italiano realm, and AV, people were making memes saying like, this is what chat's going to look like. It's going to be a bunch of different languages going crazy all the time. I thought back in vanilla that they didn't segregate them out into different countries, but apparently they did.
Yeah. Oh, they did. So there were actual language specific servers in Europe during vanilla.
Oh.
I thought at first there weren't.
It's hard to remember.
Yeah.
But on my server when I joined WoW, and it was really early in Europe, I had people from Germany, England, Netherlands, Belgium.
Well, the Northern Europeans are all the Northern Europeans speak English, dude, pretty much.
But I remember.
Now
there being guilds, like Italian only guild, like French only guild. You know,
yes.
I could have swore I remember there being guilds like that back in the day.
Yes. Now there are German servers, and back in the day, I'm sure we played with Germans, and basically on retail I played with Germans as well. So many of the Germans stayed on the English servers.
So my issue with this is, my only issue with this is, if there wasn't then, why should there be now? That's my question to the general audience.
Well, honestly, I don't see the problem with English servers for the whole of Western Europe.
Yeah, the problem is Southern Europe, right? So like Spain, Italy, Greece, those places obviously don't speak English very, very often. So that is going to be a problem for the Southern European nations. So I get that, and the Eastern Europe as well. So
I think Southern Europe would be fine on English servers. I think.
You think so? Yeah, I don't know.
Like,
I mean, are there any Italians in chat? Or are there any Greeks? I'm really interested into thinking.
Yeah, I mean, like I know for a fact, like Dunedain was saying, I remember there being some more tight knit communities, like Italian speaking, French speaking, and even some like German speaking. So, I mean, yeah, like a lot of Europeans do speak English, but also a lot of Europeans don't. You know what I mean?
I'm not saying you don't know English, dude. I'm just saying the general percentages aren't as high as in Northern Europe. That's all I'm saying. Okay, but so Sec, what do you think?
People. Well, I'm just going to finish. People can type English better than they speak it, so I think they will understand it if they just type to each other in Southern Europe. I'm not 100% sure, but I think so.
I just don't know. And now in today's world, I don't know if that's a big deal anymore. That's all I'm saying. That's my whole point. And again, if you Germans out there like want a German only server, I'm asking you why do you want that? That's my question. I'm not saying that you should or shouldn't. I'm just trying to understand the thought process behind it.
Yeah,
that's all.
Either way, though, I think that it's too few. Like, even if they're saying several for all of Europe, I just feel like that like I feel like the whole mindset right now for the servers is this, right? They're gonna, have the layers where there's like 3,000 per layer. Say they're going with 7. We'll just say 7, right? Seven. I don't know. Say they have several servers, right? 7 servers, and each one of those servers has a population cap of, or no, there is no cap, and some of them have 4 layers, some of them have 3 layers. I think what's going to happen is like there's going to be way too many people coming into these 7 servers, whatever there are. It's going to end up, they're going to be pushing out a whole bunch of more servers because they're going to underestimate it. Now you're going to have all these new servers coming out. People are going to, it's just going to be a mess. And I feel like,
like you brought this up, Defcamp, before, and I think this is the biggest thing is that they've constantly underestimated how many people are going to play, and I think this is going to bite them in the ass in the long run. But they've
overestimated the amount of people
that are Twitch. Yeah, look at the Twitch response. Look at people are watching this game in the hundreds of thousands, right? So what is the problem here? I don't understand why they can't build more realms, and the only explanation I can think of
cost
is unfortunately that or perhaps sharding will last longer than we thought, and so that's
all right. We need to move into a bigger point here. Okay, so here's my point. Do you think Blizzard is underestimating Classic? Like I don't know. Yes. I don't know. Like, so when they say several this, several that, even some of the language they've had in the past towards NA, it seems like they were underestimating it. Some of the decisions they were kind of saying with right-click report and the layering, the sharding, kind of like assuming there's going to be this huge churn, this huge drop off. It's hard to say this in a position where the hype does feel low. Definitely does feel lower. The analytics and stuff like that don't lie. But I don't know. It seems like they still might be under sleeping on Classic a little bit here. But maybe we're drinking too much of the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, it's true, because I was thinking this the other day, Kargoz. So this last stress test, right, was available to anyone in NA or Oceanic that had a sub. So I'm wondering, they know how many people downloaded the classic PTR and the stress test realm and played on it. Are they looking at those numbers and saying, okay, projecting that, okay, say if 50,000 people downloaded this, then we can project and see that this many people are going to play. I'm sure Blizzard does that, like looks at these projections and shit like that. Yeah. But I don't think you can, I don't think a lot of people are, they know this coming out August 27th. They're all going to be those people who are going to play on the stress test, do this. But I think the launch and the longevity of WoW is going to be completely different. It's going to be, I think, greater than retail numbers eventually. And, I definitely think that the way that they start this out and how they implement this, the layering and the amount of servers, and if they have a cap, it's going to, give us the feel of like what Classic is going to be like. Because if, original Classic WoW, vanilla WoW was definitely underestimated, and, it took a long time to get back to where they needed to go, and I think eventually they will get there as well. But I hope, like Melderon's saying, I hope that this doesn't cause the layering process to get longer, because if it does, that's going to piss a lot of people off.
It is.
It's going to have a negative effect.
All right.
And
look at it this way: Germany alone has 80 million people in it. 80 million. Okay. The U.S. is what, 350 million? Now add all the other countries together. Belgium probably is like 20 million, 12, 15,
11.
11. Okay, so then you add in Austria, you add in Spain, you add in Greece, the Netherlands. I mean, the EU population has to be over 300 and some odd million people, right? It has to be. So my question is, why does the EU get less servers? If the total population of the EU is larger than the U.S. population or the North American populations,
are you adding Russia in there?
I mean, honestly, I feel like it's just poor communication on Blizzard's part. I don't know. Like, you think Blizzard's really underestimating Europe? Like, I feel like maybe they just communicated it poorly. Like, what I'm thinking is maybe the EU team at Blizzard needs to step up, man. Start communicating more and going to bat for EU.
Either that, or they really are overestimating.
So Europe is about 500 million people, so more people than the U.S. That's what I thought. Canada doesn't really. Canada's got there's less people in Canada than there is in Texas. You didn't realize that. Yeah. So
that's crazy, actually. Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, it's not. Canada's not really. So yeah, it's a larger player base, potential player base. So I don't know. Now, is the game as popular as it is here? I don't know that either. Again, that's another metric I'm not thinking about. But Alex brought up a good point. I think that it's possible that sharding may be lasting longer than we thought because of the lack of server number.
You're saying sharding though. This is another point.
Sorry, layering.
All right, yeah, let's talk about this.
Let me transition this. Okay, guys, listen up. And I'm having so much fun playing this game. This stress test was so much fun. Honestly, duo leveling with Navik every day. The game is so much fun. The game is it's too fun, honestly. Like I feel like my wires got crossed when I was a little kid playing this, and now I'm just like addicted to this game forever. But anyway, I'm having a lot of fun regardless. But with that said, pretty much all of the worst case scenario stuff with layering has come true. It has come true, ladies and gentlemen. Like everything we were talking about, the exploitation, people are getting STV chests, people leveling on the last stress test. I was wondering how Navik was leveling so fast, how Ale was leveling so fast, and then they told me after, they were like, dude, we were just layer hopping, like we were going to new layers over and over. We were farming up mobs, and they were able to reset the mobs. You can use it to manipulate resources. It also interferes with community events. Yo, we did a raid on Stormwind, right? And we're running up Gromgall, and we were trying to link up with another raid, right? But we couldn't link up with them because they were in another layer, and we had a full raid group. So what do? So, you know, the community events were kind of interfered with. I mean, the list could go on and on, man, but
yeah, so like, you just brought up a good point with leveling runs, right? What's going to stop people from exploiting that during leveling speed tests?
No, they will.
They
100% will.
The world, you know, Joanna's going to do it. Everyone's going to do it. It's available, right? So, and I saw the video where you can just create characters in different layers and log into that other character, log out, log back into your main, and now that main is in the layer that the other character was in.
Yeah.
So you can actually,
The only thing it's just that I wonder if they're looking at this stuff and figuring out ways how to fix that for launch. But I guarantee there still are going to be ways to, you know, exploit this at launch either way.
Yeah, which is it actually affects gameplay though. It affects every aspect of gameplay too. And let me explain. So it's going to affect the leveling, right? It could the meta of leveling could be that the fastest people to 60 are all a bunch of mages because they layer hopped and AoE grinded and reset the Murloc camps over and over and over again. Then they went to SM and like 4-man SM and just grinded Graveyard up to Cath and, you know, got the 40 in 1 millisecond, and then they went to the Pirates and layered through the Pirates. So the layering could get affected. The layering could dramatically affect the meta of leveling, right? And then it comes to PvP as well. So, you know, people say that there's not going to be layering in Phase 2, but, you know, if there is, that could be really bad too. Or in Phase 1, in the sense where you could layer hop to get more honor kills, right? And go outside Dire Maul, another group spawns outside, you hop to another layer. Affects that. It affects in the sense you can dodge ganks, right? I don't know. I would like to explore any other option that's not going to directly affect gameplay. Like I'm kind of begging Blizzard, please don't put the layering in, man.
I personally think it's anti-classic, but the problem is I don't think the classic team has any say in any of this in the layering system. This is all.
You think?
A little bit strange, right? Because the way they described layering, it didn't seem that bad. I mean, it was like a 3K layer, right? And only occasional layer hopping in case you switch to someone who was in another layer. But aren't they just testing it on the beta?
That's a good point. Like, and I do want to bring this up again because like we were on the stress test realm, and they purposely do shit on those realms to stress the server as much as they can to make it so they know like what things are going to launch. So they could have purposely been trying to make as many layers as they could have. I'm not trying to make a defense, but it's still beta. It's still stress test. This is a lot of stuff that is not concrete yet. But I still guarantee you there are going to be negative effects of this, you know, at the launch. 100%.
Yo, chat and all of you guys, I want your opinion. Is layering worse than sharding? I'm not going to say my opinion until after we see some feedback. Think about this though. So remember what Blizzard's initial Okay, well think about their initial explanation of sharding, and when they were trying to say that the starting zones were going to be sharded, you know, like the starting area plus Durotar or Elwyn Forest. Think about sharding and layering. Which one would you prefer, right? So dynamic respawns is kind of off the table already. That's kind of a separate thing. Like that, apparently it's confirmed there were some sort of dynamic respawns in vanilla. It's looking like, you know, I was just there was a fresh that launched today. I want to talk about that later too. So there was a fresh that launched today, and I was able to witness what a fresh looks like with super intense dynamic respawns and the fresh that we had with the stress test. So we'll talk about that in a little bit too. But let me see what you guys think about sharding versus layering.
Sharding and layering, real quick, guys, is that sharding happens on very small geographic scales. And in sharding, you can't pick and choose what layer you're in. You can't exploit that system really that well. Layering is by continent, not by zone or by small area. So it's a bigger geographical area. and has the potential for exploits. At least now.
No, you can really exploit sharding as well. I've done it on
by doing.
I did it on retail.
But
dude, all you do is
So the only difference is geography.
No, but wait. The main difference to me, the sharding is only the starting area though. It's like Elwyn, and it's like Elwyn, Northshire Abbey. It's like Valley Trust.
That's sharding is cross-server.
Well, the sharding is like gone now. I don't know if they have sharding anymore. That's the thing. Sharding, what they initially explained was that there's going to be sharding in the initial starting area plus Elwyn. And yeah, you could abuse sharding too as well, but you're gonna like get a bunch of copper ore, whoop-de-doo. You're gonna get like a bunch of like some tin ore. You can't really even start AoE grinding at that level anyway. You can't start AoE grinding. The impact on the economy and PvP isn't very impactful with just those starting zones and the whatever area. My main thing is that layering affects past the starting area, right? It affects endgame, it affects economy, it affects PvP, it actually affects gameplay a lot. And we were talking about this before we started the stream. These things, sharding, layering, all these things are attempts to fix what? What is Blizzard trying to fix here by implementing these? We were talking about it like one sentence thing.
Overpopulation.
Basically showing that overpopulation won't occur. Or underpopulation.
Yeah, but because sharding was actually made for underpopulation, if I'm right. It's a cross-server technique, so every zone is a little bit populated. And we made it because people were not in the old world anymore, and by sharding, you still saw people. So, and layering is kind of the opposite, where you don't want too many people in the same zone, and that's not cross-server. So,
right, exactly. The main difference is the server is a cross-server, right? Like Valversa said, it was, sharding is mostly cross-server. So like what you could do, especially like I said in BFA, if you're invite someone from a different realm, you get on their shard or on their realm, and it's basically But so what it is, it's kind of defined now and kind of brought down more into this single realm shard where you're there's different layers of people in the same realm, but it essentially is the same thing. What you're doing, right? You're
it's very simple.
Sectioning people off into these different realms, these different layers.
Priest, CL, he's gone.
So at its core, it is very much the same thing. But like I said, sharding is much more, larger on a larger scale.
Sharding is larger. Hold on, we'll talk about it in a second. Real quick, Patrick with the $5. He wants a shout out. Cloward from the Fellowship, one of your guildies in the house, Dunedain. Big shout out to Cloward. Thank you for the 5.
Yeah, actually, Cloward is missing, so we don't know where he is.
Oh, he just dropped off? Oh, man. Hopefully he's all right.
Oh, yeah, but we hope he's all right.
So, okay, for my take, right, I think layering is worse than sharding, right? And I think that the main solution, the main reason why Blizzard's trying to do all these crazy things is because they want to prevent an overpopulated world that can't support the player base. That was like my one sentence way to describe the issue here. An overpopulated realm with a world that can't support this player base, right? They also want to prevent login queues. They're trying to create a smooth launch experience, as Sarmonican said in the chat so elegantly. If the launch is scuffed, for many players, they're going to walk away from the game and not come back, right? So I don't want to just beat a dead horse here and not provide any solutions, but I'm struggling to understand why Blizzard can't just create a bunch of realms, multiple realms, right? And yes, it's likely that we're going to have to consolidate these realms, some of them, as we go, but at least that stuff's not going to affect gameplay. There will be zero effect on gameplay other than the eventual server merge that may or may not happen. That will be the only effect on gameplay.
You ready for the answer? Do you know why they're doing it?
Is it money? Is it X's and O's?
Because of streamers.
Because of streamers.
Think of it this way. If let's say Asmon says, I'm going on server A. Do you know how many people are going to go on server A?
Yeah, probably a lot. Yeah, probably
maybe like 30,000 people.
Nah, more than that, dude. 30K watches stream at the same time, fam.
That's what I mean.
It's gonna be like 100K.
This is something that I don't think the classic dev team has any say in this, dude. This is marketing, man. This is like high-end, upper echelon decisions, I think, personally. I don't know, but I think why your suggestion of having multiple realms makes the most logical sense to everyone, right?
And it doesn't affect gameplay. There's no shards, there's no layers, it's fine.
And in my understanding of server technology, it also doesn't cost money because you're literally just making a copy, right? Of a program. It's not, servers aren't actual physical space anymore like they used to be back in the day. At least as far as I understand. I think it's for hype, dude. I really think it's a hype mechanic. And That's my personal opinion. I don't know, dude. I don't know. That's my personal opinion.
It's almost like a fine line. So having different servers, you could almost treat those like layers, though. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to consolidate the layers down. What's the difference between consolidating layers down? Yeah, it's a little bit smoother feeling. Maybe like it's not going to feel like a big hard server merge. But what's the difference between consolidating layers and consolidating separate servers? You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. Yeah. I just think with a bunch of servers, every issue people have brought up for the past months and months and months, all of those gameplay issues are untouched. Like you don't affect the gameplay at all, and then people, you know, can wrap their head around much more like it's much easier for people to wrap their head around. Okay, my server might merge if the population starts dipping. You know what I mean? But at least they almost could feel like they could control that if they have a really robust population on their server, right? Let's say that if you're on a server and your server is hype and there's mad people there and there's lots of activity, right? And it's like our server is going to be awesome, super healthy, super good events and stuff. Like, are we going to be merged with other people? Probably not, because we're going to be pretty big.
Exactly. And for those of you guys in chat saying that streamers won't tell, do you realize how short of a time span it will take for people to find out what server a streamer's on?
I'm sorry, I just killed Asfand we're both farming for Prince.
Yeah.
And he came and I dotted him up. He bubbled, and I was trying to get him to drown, and then he lay on hands, and then a shaman. We both killed him. That was funny. Yeah.
So let's say Asmongold or whoever. Let's use Asmongold as an example. I hate you. I'm nothing against the guy, but he's the biggest streamer I know to play as well, right? So he picks a realm. His inner circle knows the realm. His inner circle tells their inner circle who's in the realm. It's gonna like get out within like an hour. What server all these guys are on?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think. So you know what I mean? Like.
Okay, so here's my response to that, though, Melderon. They set a hard cap. They say every server has a hard cap of X amount of people. If you're not in, then tough luck, you can't get in. And then that server will self-regulate. So if it's super crowded and there's big login queues for it, people are gonna be like, yo, fuck this. It's not worth it to go play with Asmongold, or not worth it to play with Sky. And they're just gonna bounce, and it's gonna self-regulate. And then that's pretty much that. Like, that's just the price you pay if you're playing with a streamer. I hope that doesn't happen to our server, but. They said, here's the population cap, first come, first serve, you get in, and I mean, I don't know, and then...
I fully agree with you, Kargoz, but I feel like if they do layering exactly as they should do it, I feel like it's almost the same as having multiple servers, so if they do it right, I guess it will be fine.
So what are you talking about, though? All these exploits, though. What do you say about that, Dunedain? All these exploits are layering. That's.
I hope that's because they are testing it on the beta server. If they have like a maximum of 2 layers on the server, I can see it work. Maybe 3 layers.
That might be all it takes, though. It's only 6-minute respawn on mobs. You go kill a big camp of Murlocs and Dustwallow, and you get invited to another layer, and you have a whole fresh camp of Murlocs again. You kill them again.
I hope that not every server has the 2 layers. I hope it's like for the really big servers we have an additional layer sometimes, and for most of the servers there is no layering at all. That's how I hope they will do it, but I'm not sure. If they do it right, I feel like it's quite a decent solution, because you basically have the multiple servers and you can merge them later on without having problems with names and stuff like that. So
I just hope that it doesn't last as long as
so do I.
phase 1, in that post where it said a couple weeks to a month, I took that to heart. I'm like, okay, it's not going to be more than a couple weeks to a month. If that's it, so be it. I'll live through that time, but if it ends up being longer than that,
I still think you're underestimating the damage. All it would take is 2 weeks of layering, and you're already going to be in a very Twilight Zone type experience. You're going to be a bunch of mages are going to be 60. They're going to have done some really weird stuff. There's going to just be 47 title charms on your server. There's going to be this will all happen. There will be the economy is going to be some weird crazy, I don't even know what it's going to look like. Or we could just create more servers, and none of this is a complete non-factor. Any of this balanced up, 100%, not even a factor. And the only thing that's going to affect gameplay is the eventual possible, not even guaranteed server merge where you put 2 communities together. Yes, there's going to be some clashing of heads. Yes, names. Someone's going to say in the chat, I'm going to lose my name. I'll happily rename myself. I'll be Karzog, dude. I'll be Karzog. I'll be Kargoz BTW. I'll be Kargoz FYI. I'll be Kargoz. Yo, it's Kargoz. I don't care about my name. That's not affecting the gameplay, right? That's not affecting the gameplay, man. Merging the server, and also it kind of feels like you have a little bit of control as a community if you roll on a realm, right? And if that realm is popping, from Blizzard's perspective, why would they merge you into another realm if it's super crowded already and super poppin' and super healthy, right? Why are they going to merge your server that's close to cap possibly with another one? So you could almost control and ensure that your community wouldn't be merged with another one if you have a healthy, strong community on your realm.
But I just want to clear up. I really wouldn't. If I was in charge, I wouldn't put in layering or sharding or anything at all. But they are going to do it. So if they do it, they better take the least of the least of the bad options. And if they do it right, I suppose it's kind of decent solution. That's what I would say. So yeah.
You're right, Dunedain. And I think that, and Kargoz is right as well, 100%. We actually had this conversation, I think, a month ago. Same exact conversation about the same thing, and we came to the same conclusion. But I think you're right. In 2 weeks, there's going to be you're right. There's going to be all these people exploiting the layers. They're going to hit 60 as fast as possible, farm as much stuff as they possibly can, and you will have ramifications even with 2 weeks. I absolutely guarantee it. Now, will that affect most players? Probably not. And I think another problem is that a lot of us kind of we look at our experience from a very, like, it's not high tier. It's like we look at things at a very high level, whereas I think a lot of players won't have to worry about a lot of these things. Like, most players aren't going to care how many title charms are on their server. Most players aren't going to care how many 60s there are, but it will affect the server as a whole. And I think that's.
But do you balance things around the high end meta? Like when you go to look at an esport, a highly competitive game, people love and pour their heart and soul and money and all that into. You balance it around the competitive meta. You don't balance it around the average player. Yeah. IMO, and somewhat. So, I mean, man, dude, man,
I just don't understand the thought process here. I really don't, and I it seems so much more logical and so much more easy to me just to make X realms. Like,
it does.
Make them all. If they die, they die, and merge them with another realm. Like, that's
at least everybody's operating in a fair environment, right? People want to feel like it's fair, right? You want to feel like it's fair, and like if someone pick your poison, Melderon. What's your favorite thing about the game? You like open world dungeons, right? Well, I mean, maybe that doesn't work that well. But Dunedain, you like professions, right? Maybe Defcamp really likes PvP. Either way, you have stuff that you like to geek out on in the game and become like an expert on and make it like your craft. Like for me, I love leveling. Like leveling is so cool. Making leveling routes, it really floats my boat. And the fact that whatever that juicy thing is that you love could be affected by this outside weird fugazi like server dimensional mechanic thing like called layering could affect that. It really feels bad, man. Like the fact that the meta of leveling, something that I think is a very special, amazing experience, could just be mages layer hopping to 60.
Yeah,
that doesn't feel very good, dude.
It's like you AOE farm, you AOE farm layer, AOE farm layer, AOE farm layer.
And no one does a single quest. They don't do a single dungeon, and you just and then you get to 60, and then you hop right into Dire Maul, and the whole game is basically popping between layers and instances to farm up the maximum amount of resources. Is that the spirit of Classic? I don't know, dude. Let's say Dunedain's professions, and he likes being the best blacksmith. What if everybody has every possible recipe because they're layer hopping, and everyone has Crusader, everybody has all Lionheart helm. Everybody has everything because they're just pop into different dimensions and
all
cranking
those,
it out.
Vendor only items that only have a cooldown. That's
actually
and like title charm, you can get that like boom, like just hop on a different layer, and it's like The
thing I looked forward to the most with Classic is play on low population servers like 2.5k and stuff like that. So I'm still hoping that will be the experience we get. So let's try to have a little fate, I guess.
So let's
do anything,
I think some people want to switch up.
So okay.
Leeway now.
Okay, yeah. We can switch
up. Let's talk about the leeway.
So I'm gonna link in chat. There's a video done by Perplexity. It's very well done. If you guys want to see what we're talking about on this side,
I can actually play it on here. I set the presentation mode up. If you can link me the thing, I can play it.
I'll link it to you right here. It's right there.
Okay, sweet. Let's talk about leeway. All right. Okay, here we go.
Alright boys, quick, concise, no BS. We're going to be going over the leeway mechanic in this video. I will tell you exactly what the leeway mechanic is if you're wondering what the hell it is. I will tell you, do not worry about that. We're going to give a demonstration on it as well with my main man, Leeway here, aptly named. And then I will tell you and give you my thoughts on whether or not I think it should be changed.
So this is something that first I want to say, like it is definitely...
etc. Let him talk. Alright, so Leeway, what is... Leeway, well, if two players are in PvP combat and both players are moving, what will happen is the game will give you extra range on your melee attacks and your melee abilities. I will demonstrate that right now. I'll go into base melee range, which is going to be about here. Let's move back a little bit just to make sure. Yeah, I was in perfect melee range. There we go. So I'm slicing away at my main man Leeway here. This is the base melee range on an orc. It will be increased on Tor, and I will show that later. Now, if I move backwards, I cannot attack my friend here. It's impossible to attack my friend, right? I'm outside of melee range, yes? That's how... I'm not going to say that's how it should be, but this isn't melee range. However, if I start moving, I start strafing here, the game thinks I'm moving and it activates the leeway mechanic. Of course, I am moving.
God, what a good way of explaining this.
So as you can see, I am now slicing from across the equator. I can, of course, use my Raptor Strike as well. That is absolutely fine. There you go. So here's my max range now with the leeway. It's going to be about at this plant here. This end plant here. This is your new range. I don't know what I'd say that is. Probably about 8 yards, maybe just over 8 yards. Alright, so we're on the Tauren right now, swapped over, and we're going to show them base melee range on the Tauren. It's going to be around about here, which is between these two plants, so just underneath where I was on the Orc. Of course, this has been confirmed by Blizzard as, you know, ironically, quote-unquote, Blizz-like. To have Taurens with a bigger hitbox, that's completely fine. Bigger melee range, you've got an extra couple yards there, whatever, right? But now the crazy thing here is, if I start to move backwards a little bit, my leeway should activate from around about here.
Cheese and rice, dude. What the fuck?
The other side of the world.
Oh, God.
I can even Raptor Strike.
Tauren Warrior for the win.
This is your new melee range. As a Tauren, if both players are moving. So if you're chasing off someone on a Tauren Warrior or Tauren whatever the hell it is, as long as it's melee and some other guy's trying to escape, some poor priest over is trying to run away.
It's a larger range.
You are not getting away, mate. You are going to be visiting.
It looks like a hunter, like dead zone cut off, dude.
From over here. Like, this is insane, okay? Now, my War Stomp range is 8 yards. 8 yards. If you guys have played World of Warcraft for a long period of time, you know that this is probably not 8 yards. We're going to show you right now that it is definitely not 8 yards. So you're literally hitting with your ACOG scope Tauren weapon from, I don't know what that is, 10 yards, 11 yards? But to be honest, I think we also have to look into the past as well. Like, Blizzard have historically made concessions to accommodate for new technology in other areas, you know, like the ability to house more than 2,500 people on one server. That's not going to be a server cap anymore. That was a technological limitation back in the day. So this is pretty much an outdated mechanic in my opinion. You know, we're not all lining up with our Microsoft ball mice waiting to connect via dial-up. This is essentially emulating server lag, which we don't need to do anymore. But I should clarify though, right? While no changes is a fantastic notion, failing to adapt the game to modern technologies will actually deliver a vastly different vanilla experience than what I think you guys are expecting or hoping for. Like, mechanics such as leeway that were put in place to provide a smoother gameplay experience with the less stable internet connections of the time will nowadays just serve as a mechanic that forces down the skill cap. I mean, back in the day, you had people on, I think it's ASDL, ADSL connections, which are like 0.5 megabyte download.
Hold up. So leeway is confirmed 100% in classic in that current form, like that?
100%.
Fuck it, then don't change it. Don't change it. No, then keep it in. Keep it in. I'm keeping it. I changed my mind. I was under the impression that in vanilla, this extent of leeway wasn't like this. If this is how it was in vanilla, keep that shit, bro. That's
exactly my point. Yeah.
I have multiple confirmations that this is actually Blizz-like. This is vanilla.
Okay.
Now I didn't know the difference between male and female Tauren, but
well, that's a different video. If you guys want to watch that, we can watch that. But that's a very in-depth video. It's not good for streams, but I will link it because this guy goes over all the math that he used, everything. He even created his own Lua extension to test this stuff. So it's ridiculous. I'm linking it in chat now.
This is something Blizzard, it would be valuable if Blizzard would just comment on officially. Maybe they already have, and just say, like, guys, I know people are freaking out about the leeway thing. This is 100% how it was in classic. We are Blizzard. We know this information to be true because we made the game 100%. So you guys want no changes. This is the original vanilla experience.
Yeah, I think they will be in this week, Kargoz. I would be heavily I would be surprised if they didn't say something about it this week. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, same here. You know, this is something that, like, it's, you know, as far as Melderon knows, like, even with it interferes with, like, Earthbind kiting, right? Because, but, like, something that I remember back in the day, 100%, was, like, you know, because what you're seeing is happening before, right? Everything you're seeing is literally in the past. Yes. You got to remember that. And with classic WoW, like, it's so much more. I mean, you have to take in consideration the batching, right? You have to take consideration all these different things that are going on, and, like, they purposely made it on the beta to be like this, like in classic. Like, I think that just goes to show that, you know, a lot of the developers were so intent on making this like vanilla-like, that they went and made sure that this was something that could happen. But I mean, that goes to show. I think that goes to show good intent. I mean, what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, they're trying to stay core to the game, man. I mean, how can we argue with that? That's and if they keep world buffs in, their argument will be that it's the way the game was, and I have no problem with that. I'm not arguing something based upon what was vanilla or not. Like if it's in vanilla and that's the way they're going to argue that, then at least do that. But layering was not in vanilla, so that's my big gripe with layering.
Yeah.
Well, about the leeway thing, it was in vanilla, okay, but something it did was it handled lag, right? So if you were lagging and the other guy on the other side was lagging, it still felt like the game went smooth. And now we don't have that much lag anymore, so it should stay, but maybe it shouldn't be as big as it is.
Yeah, North, there's a huge difference between melee leeway and what actually is happening. This is an emulation of from what I understand, this is an emulation of server lag. And it needs a new name, but unfortunately, it's not going to get one.
Well, Blizzard needs to come out and just officially say what's what, pretty much. And if something was the way it was supposed to be in Classic, then leave it. But people are on the fence, even me right now. I don't know if this melee leeway is 100% accurate. This is how it was working in OG Vanilla, or maybe it was partially like this. You know what I mean? Maybe it was partially some sort of leeway, or if this is the real final form leeway. So North is a friend of the channel. We do Magus Cast together. He's saying that AoE leeway is now fixed. So it seems like that they're consistent, at least now across the board, with melee leeway and AoE leeway. So this same was holding true. This same was not holding true for spells, for AoE, right? If both parties were moving, the spell wouldn't get that additional up to 2.66 yards or whatever. And that was another just weird inconsistency that appeared in the beta, but apparently that has been fixed. Some stuff appears to have been low-key fixed as of the next as of that last stress test, but yeah.
Yeah, so I'm still confused what your point is, though, North. You're saying that this is not vanilla-like, because I can confirm that it is.
Here's somebody walking.
I figured it out right now. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of TBD. Hopefully Blizzard puts an official ruling out on the whole leeway thing.
If you want to PM me, North, I can explain to you something, but we probably shouldn't do it over chat. But anyway, yeah. So anyway, so leeway or whatever you want to call it, this is an issue. What do you guys think this is going to mean for? Because it wasn't in private servers, right? So at least it wasn't to the extent that we understand it is now. Do you think it's going to make significant changes to the PvP meta?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, not significant to the. I mean, it's going to make changes. Yeah, I think on most people's behalf, like are most people going to be like greatly affected by it? No, there are going to be some people affected by it. Absolutely. But I like it. Honestly, I do.
You like
it's
the
not
leeway?
so much that I like it.
You hate hunters. That's why, dude. You hate hunters. So like anything that nerfs hunters makes Defcamp happy, dude. Anything.
No, I mean, playing as a priest primarily, like it's but like I do play as a shaman too, so it's something, and a Tarn. I play as a Tarn shaman, so this is something that could affect me in a negative way, especially with War Stomp, with the friggin' Ellie Stomp, baby. Like in that War Stomp and chain lightning, someone can stay outside of my 8 yards and still melee me and not get hit by my War Stomp. But like in all, I feel like it is something that's in the essence of vanilla WoW. So I definitely feel like I remember playing on my rogue back in the day in vanilla and having things like this happen. Maybe not to the extent that I remember now, but I feel like it's definitely something that I remember happening back on my rogue. Yeah, I think it's 100%, vanilla-like, in my opinion.
It's hard to know what was the actual real vanilla mechanic and what was a function of our potato-ass PCs from back then, dude.
It's true. My internet, but that's the thing. I think what's happening,
dude.
right? I think what's happening is like Blizzard is trying to take into effect all these other things that happened back in the day, and maybe trying to make it off that, and maybe that's why it seems like it's a little bit too much. But in essence, I do like the fact that it's like, the feel of it. I think it feels very charming in a way that it feels like vanilla. I don't know. That's my.
So there are.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, okay, there are some differences. North is here. I see Track is here too. Big fan of you, Track, dude. Another hunted brother right there.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. No, dude. He's got a Viper sting for you, dude. He'll be looking out for you. Oh
God, I got a jungle remedy for you. That's
okay. You would carry around jungle remedies. You hate hunters, dude. Oh
I got jungle remedies by the dozens, man.
That's funny. Okay. So there was some stuff different on private servers, right? So I've been hearing this a lot. Any of the private server PvP legends in there, I don't include myself in that boat. If any of y'all are in the chat, chime in here. But spell batching is both in beta, right? And it was on private servers or some sort of batching. But I've heard through the grapevine that the batching window was tighter on private servers, and that's why things are feeling a little bit clunkier, a little bit slower, a little bit more unresponsive almost on the beta. Because it's a true 400 millisecond window batch, as opposed to maybe the private server, it might have been less than that, 200 milliseconds, 100 milliseconds. Because even with those smaller batch windows, you're still able to get those interactions, right, with the double polys and stuff like that. But it's a tighter window.
Right.
What do you guys say? I mean, my position on it is that Blizzard has all the values. They need to just come out and say, these were the values, here it was, this is how it was back in the day, and this is what it's going to be. Like, and this is the batch window, just to kind of clear the air with that stuff. But how do you feel about that? Potentially having a smaller batch window, but still having spell batching.
But you're saying that private servers had a smaller batch window.
Yeah, so a lot of the private server people have expressed concern. They say it feels really unresponsive and weird on the beta.
That's how it was in vanilla.
So moving the 400 millisecond batch window to 200 milliseconds. How do you feel about that? No? Yes?
Oh, change it from what it was in vanilla to 200?
To reflect, tighter.
Yeah, I mean, but if they're gonna change that, then they should change like world buffs. They should change, this leeway-ish mechanic. They should change all this other stuff too, right? But I guess the point is, where do you stop? Is my question.
I don't know, man.
I mean, the point was to emulate vanilla WoW, right? That was the point of this?
Yeah, that was the point of this. Yeah, it was the point of recreate the original magic of the vanilla WoW experience.
Well, then we got to take it for what it was. I mean, even if I have an opinion against world buffs, I hate world buffs, but if that's the thing. I don't know. Like I don't know, man. Like Perplexity brought up the point. Games don't play like this anymore. Blah 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 blah. And he's right, but then are we changing vanilla WoW at its heart? I don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes it might be okay to have it changed, so it plays more like it used to be.
To defend what you're saying though, dude, for what you just said, we already have vanilla with sprinkles. This is already what we have. Like, remember people used to say that for a while? Yeah. This is vanilla with sprinkles, guys. I'm not saying it's purely bad either. I don't think classic WoW is original vanilla. We should refer to that as vanilla. And then we had the private server era. Yeah. We call that as the Nostalrius era. Now we have WoW Classic, fundamentally different version of the game. Nothing we can do to perfectly recreate it. It is vanilla WoW with sprinkles on top. So we've already crossed that line in the sand, Dunedain. So I see what you mean. If people, do a little change here or there, we've already crossed that line. We're not getting the OG vanilla. It's not even close, actually.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right, Kargoz. And that's the thing. We're getting a 1.12 system as well. We're getting, it's obviously different. But my question is, like, what is the right answer? What should the window be?
I don't know. See, I don't know.
But since everyone has different opinions, then why don't we just go back to the original? I'm playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, I'm down for that. Yeah.
I'm just saying that, like, if no one knows the actual answer, should it be 100? Should it be 150? Should it be 200? Should it be 250? All the way up to 400 or less or more? Who makes that decision? You know what I mean? That's the issue, and I that's why I think they're trying to stick with these things, because, like, they probably realize it's a problem too, but what's the right answer?
It's true.
But they made a decision on several things, like AV 1.12, the spell balance, and so it's basically up to Blizzard to make that decision.
It's up to Blizzard. Absolutely.
If it doesn't feel good, they should probably change it.
Yeah, we'll see. We're already getting vanilla. We're already getting vanilla plus, pretty much. So we already crossed that line in the sand. I'm just throwing that out there because we.
Yeah, no, I agree.
There's a lot. There's substantial changes to the game right now. Not all of them bad. I mean, there is an element of dynamic respawn. There is layering. There is, you know, that even just comparing your gear when you hold down shift, auto loot, all these things. You know, it's yeah, you get what I'm saying. But
no, I get it. I get it. I like there are some issues that are arising now that we're seeing the game played in the 2019 environment, right? They're being exposed, and they're bugs ish or not or whatever we think. So the best thing is just keep going on the forums and talking in a polite way, and it'll get I mean, they're going to have to cross these bridges as they go along, and I think that at some point they will. But again, like, we have to come up with some consensus here. We can't just, you know, say that it should be this or it should be that. I don't know. It's a hard thing, dude. It's really hard thing.
I don't envy Blizzard's position. They're having to make a lot of hard choices here, right? Trying to just make this game work in 2019. I really don't. I don't mean anything mean-spirited to Blizzard. Trust me. I still love them as a gaming company. Come at me if that's going to trigger people. I support Blizzard. I think Blizzard is the best gaming company. They've made the best games in my life. So,
especially that they brought out Classic. I mean, like, you know, and I think the Classic dev team in the whole is like probably the best thing we've seen on the Classic in a long time.
Yeah. I mean, all these things are so trivial in comparison to layering to me. Layering, guys, if you're not in the beta and you haven't played it and filled it out, dude, the layering is just, it's
so that to me is an issue, right? Because that's obviously wasn't in vanilla, right? So that's something we can clearly state. We don't want this because it wasn't in the game. That's an easy stance to take, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
and I agree with you 100%. Like it's a huge problem. Unless they limit it in a way that, I don't know, I don't even want to say that. Like, oh, we'll make a change so that you can't exploit it or something, you know? But even then, someone's going to figure out something. Dude, people figure out this shit is so quick of how to, like, you know, how long did it take for people to realize how to export the layering? What, a day? Like...
yeah, I mean, pretty much. And they're still finding ways. Yeah. They're still finding ways. I mean, every day they're finding new ways, and it's honestly going to get continuously refined. I'm glad, though. You know, I'm kind of eating my words a little bit. You know, a part of me still feels that the way they rolled out this beta was kind of unfair to the community as a whole equally. But at the same time, more of me now is seeing value in this open beta and like getting these things out in the open so people can read about them and get really upset about leeway and talk about the effects of layering and to exploit the shit out of it so we can see the potential damage it can do, and we have months of seeing that stuff in person. I hope they take it out, and there's still time to take it out, I feel, man. I don't... So... It's
like, what else would they do, though? Like give them a better alternative.
Yeah, I'll give better alternative. Ton of servers. You tell everybody, your server may or may not be merged. You can control that. Have a badass server with a big, robust population. Be strong. Be filled. Make your server the envy of other servers. We're not going to merge you if that happens because your server's full. If you roll on a server, have a hard cap and a ton of servers. But if you roll on a server loosey-goosey and you're not really putting in a lot of effort, just, you know, and the server is not that big, or maybe you consciously decide to roll on some random server, just know that could get merged with another thing. All balance related to layering and sharding out the window. Game is in a much better state. And it may cost more, but I'm sure the community... There's some successful people in this community: engineers, scientists, doctors, people that have advanced degrees. I mean, Melderon, big doctor over here. Like, we'll fund the damn thing. I mean, I'll do what I can. You know, like we'll pay the server costs for a little bit.
Like, give us $1 million and we'll make all the servers. Would you try to raise the money and fund it?
I'll run on a hamster wheel for a little while every week to try and power the server. Like
like what if they asked the community, like, guys, listen. If you guys could raise enough money to power these servers and do that, do you think people would do it?
Oh, they would absolutely do it. Yo, they would absolutely do it, 100%. Look how many like donos and stuff come in if it was actually going to... Dude, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't even just keep beating a dead horse here, but it's something that I'm actually feeling more and more strongly about as we go on. Like, I actually didn't think it was going to be this big of a deal, to be honest with you. I was like, yeah, it's whatever, a couple weeks, because I was thinking about the sharding. But seeing this play out and, you know... I don't know, man. I don't know. Okay, we can move forward with it. I just, you know, fucking feels bad.
I know, bro. I know it's like something that you know.
There's a couple of things that have been raising my attention as well in this
world buffs.
Well, that obviously, but you know, so Taladro and I decided to make a video called "World Buffs Are an Exploit." Obviously, I'm sure a lot of people have seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
It was Asmongold watched it, Kevin Jordan watched it, Mark Kern watched it. So you know, it's been getting out there, but you know, and Taladro's extremely against them.
Yeah.
As am I. But again, the exploit term was thrown out there because it meets certain criteria, which possibly could have been. It obviously wasn't an exploit. So Kevin Jordan came out and said it's not an exploit, and he knows more than anyone, right? He is a developer.
Right.
He was a developer in Vanilla WoW.
But then Mark Kern said something different, didn't he?
Mark Kern said the same thing, but Kevin Jordan and Mark Kern made two comments that was really interesting. Kevin Jordan said they did not expect or understand the significance of the stacking mechanic. And then Mark Kern said that logging out of your character is not in the spirit of Vanilla WoW.
Right.
So those two things did come out. And I've been talking to Kevin as well. We're trying to get a little debate set up as well to talk about it.
Melderon's famous now, by the way, guys. He's
yeah, seriously,
in the limelight with like all the AAA streamers. Just saying.
Yeah, okay, but so but the issue is like the term exploit isn't an exploit until it becomes so. That's
my issue with it. Yeah.
So here's the thing: the Reckoning Bomb thing, right? Paladin Reckoning was designed a certain way. Someone realized that you could do something with it to make it do X thing, right? And as soon as that happened, as soon as Lord Kazakh went down, Reckoning was removed 24 hours later. Okay. Sorry, not the ability, but the ability to stack it the way that he did.
Yeah. Infinite stacks, yeah.
What my argument is about world buffs being an exploit is that the team didn't realize its effect until it was too late in patch 2.1.0, where it was removed. You couldn't use it in mobs level 63 or higher. I'm not backing down from the exploit argument just because Kevin Jordan said it wasn't an exploit. I would say that it is an exploit if vanilla kept progressing in the way it did naturally. If vanilla never ended, I think it would have been amended. That's my argument.
So you're saying Kevin Jordan said? I'm sorry, I didn't watch a video. Kevin Jordan said that they were intended though, right? Or
they put them in the game. Obviously, they put them in the game, but they didn't realize the potential of stacking them on raid content.
Stacking was the issue.
And the reason they didn't, and the reason they didn't realize it is because what percentage of the player base was doing Nax? Less than 1%.
That's true.
And even at that time, a lot of people weren't stacking them to the ways that people were, right? But
like it happens.
Wait, you said even the Dire Maul buffs where you have to go all do that Fugazi shit in Dire Maul, that was all in they were thinking that was going to be the meta.
I don't know if they thought they were going to use them in raids, but they put them in the game
Dire Maul,
for a reason, because you're not going to use them in Dire somewhere else, right? Because you already completed Dire Maul, so there's no reason to have them for Dire Maul.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they intended people to use them for content, right? But when you have a 30 to 60% increase in DPS depending on class and a 30% increase in overall health pool, I'm sorry
the problem isn't just Dire Maul. It's Dire Maul plus Ani Head plus ZG plus Songflower plus Warsong's Blessing, Warchief's Blessing.
Warchief's Blessing for Horde.
And that I think is when the problem starts to come out. I told guys and myself, I don't even like Melderon. The whole video. I was like, dude, I'm not really sold on the fact that it was an exploit, this, that, and the other. But I did the whole private server thing. Dawkins here, by the way. What's up, Dawkins?
Dawkins, dude.
I know Dawkins done the whole private server thing. And listen, I mean, some people like to go out there, get your world buffs, and it's like this whole process, is that and the other. At the end of the day, what takes more, to just clear the raid without the world buffs, or to get the world buffs and clear it? I don't know. It's become this whole thing though, where a lot of people will go out, get the world buffs, do all this, then like Melderon said, sometimes you get wiped beforehand, sometimes someone's dying, it becomes this whole thing. But
the whole negative aspect of it is on a side to me. The part that really bothers me is the fact that I think it trivializes raid content. You're going to tell me, but you have to, it only lasts an hour, and if you die, it's gone. That's fine, but I don't know, man.
Mind controlling alliance for Warchief Blessing.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that's so funny to me.
I have a question. Isn't it? Wasn't there a cooldown on the
in vanilla? There was.
Here's the thing.
There was,
about the cooldown. So this is a whole other point. Everyone argues back and saying, Melderon, you know what the F you're talking about, because there's going to be a cooldown in Classic WoW. Okay, so there's going to be a cooldown. So what does that mean? You're logged off for longer.
People wait for it.
There's going to be scouts waiting for that shit to be turned in, or when the cooldown to elapse to turn in their heads. It's going to make it even worse. And I don't know.
Maybe
I don't know.
Maybe it's only for the very, very tryhards. I feel like
that's what I like to think.
Just not bother having those world buffs.
Yeah, it's not going to affect most people, but the world buff effect is a big issue as well. If one person in your raid, the whole argument with that part of the video was that in casual guilds, so let's say one person goes out and get world buff, right? And they're at the top of the DPS charts week after week. What's stopping them from doing it? Now everyone's gonna get jealous. They're gonna get
some people might get benched because we got this guy's doing this with DPS. You're not, and you could if you got world buffs, but now I see the problem. But I wish. I'm very idealistic when it comes to this, though. I wish the community could just police itself. I wish we didn't have to have Blizzard take them out. Yeah, do this, do that. I wish we could just say, okay, guys. We're gonna do a run, no world buffs, or you bring world. Who cares? I wish everything could just solve itself, but I've seen it happen. A lot of times that doesn't work. There will be guilds out there who don't give a shit, right?
Yeah.
But I think the main problem is it'll start to bleed into the casual, thing. And who's to say that for some people they enjoy this? I don't know. Me myself, I definitely did not like doing all this as a healer. The crit was nice, the extra, like this, that, and the other, but as a DPS, and especially someone who's, if someone's very competitive, a lot of people won't raid until they get their friggin' world buffs, and it becomes this whole
that thing Melderon said where it's like raiding with no talent points. Dude, that's so funny to me, bro. I don't know how you calculated that.
Taladro did all this stuff. Taladro did all the math. He calculated 36% increased damage. He calculated the talent point. That's how you equate it to. And it's like Taladro's the mastermind behind
he's
all this.
mastermind.
I just did.
I remember him saying that on Countdown to Classic a long time ago, but it didn't have the same crazy effect that your video had. But so it wasn't that news to me. But all right, just to share with the people my position on the whole world buff thing. I think they're really annoying. It's a massive bad quality of life that you have to not play your character. But I still want them in the game. I still think they're good, mainly because I think it's much. Oftentimes what I say about what makes Vanilla WoW special, North is in here too, he was saying it about PvP, it applies to both PvP and PvE. It's not very cookie cutter in Vanilla WoW. You can almost tank with any damn class in the game if you itemize properly and get all the freaking buffs. You can do there's so much flexible stuff you can do with every class, and Vanilla WoW gives you the tools, all the buffs and weird items and everything you can do together, and in aggregate will make you so much stronger and more specialized or whatever. So you can take, my TLDR is that with these world buffs, you can be a meme spec or a meme class and have a fighting chance if you go above and beyond and you get every last boggling root and you turn in blood shards of Agamemnon and you go do everything you got to do. You can have a fighting chance. But with that said, okay, sorry, I'm talking too much. Go ahead.
I agree with everything you're saying right there, except for my experience on private servers and what that turned into, right? Because I agree with go out, get these things yourself, make yourself more powerful. That's the point of Vanilla WoW. It's there are all these things that you can do. If you put the time in there, you can get rewarded, right? But what it became on private servers, and someone just said why would a normal guild bother with that? My guild was nowhere near one of the top guilds on private servers. It was just a regular guild. We were literally required every single day. Start off with Dire Maul, then we went to the Ani Head. It was every Songflower. Every time we raided, it was required, and I would say most of the guilds on that server were as well.
Mm-hmm. But that's a private
it's what
server.
It turned into. Yes, it is private server.
Hardcore.
It is, but a lot of things that now are the meta on privates that were the meta on private servers
are gonna carry over.
I've already found them way out in the classic. A lot of
Melderon said that too. I could totally see even casual guilds saying all right, guys, we have to be respectable. We're gonna go get our world buffs now. And
considering how easy they are to get, they're not hard to get.
Yeah, if it were only Ani Head, like North said, that's the one thing I agree with North. I wish somehow. Maybe just have it so that world buffs don't stack. Just do Ani Head, or just do DM buffs, or just do ZG buff. I think that would be awesome if guilds just did one buff instead of all of them. It would log in. Someone's got their Ani Head to do their quest, to get their necklace, whatever. You get the Ani Head buff, boom. Now you go raid, right? like I don't think it would be such a big deal if it was just one buff. But the fact that it's all of them.
Cud has a very good point though, man. And I was saying this to Melderon before. Okay, so another beautiful aspect of Vanilla WoW. It's beautiful. Is that it's beautiful. It's just there's a lot of reasons to go out into the world and interact and enjoy and engage in with the world. So these world buffs and stuff like having to go to Felwood, having to go to Dire Maul, having to go to the Stranglethorn, having to go all these different places makes the world much more dangerous, much more alive, creates much more insane world PvP, right? Crazy world PvP, genuine danger, right? Out in the open world, and it's inevitable. Like if you want to be competitive, you have to go face this threat. That's kind of cool too, though, right? I don't know. What you guys think?
Yeah, that's definitely one thing that I would argue, for it is that you do have this competitive nature when it comes to like, someone sees you with world buffs, they want to kill you, or someone's going out and they're on ZG Island, right? You get this huge wars on ZG Island. I love that, Yeah, there's a huge competitive nature to it, but in the same respect, you could still have that. You could still, like Melderon's, thing wasn't taking the world buffs out; it was just not letting them in raid. So you could still have, the PvP, and people maybe in this way, if people are only allowed to use them for world content, then maybe they would create more world PvP content in that respect. So
yeah,
and that's a big what if though, right? It's a big what if, but it's possible because like if you're only using it for world content, then you're using it for either world bosses or killing the other faction. So I don't know. It's definitely something that I think like a lot of people who haven't played on private servers probably are like, what's the big deal? And because like, oh, either use them or you don't, right? But I saw firsthand how at first, no one really cared about it. Then a couple people started getting them, and then now the guild leader's like, okay, everyone has to get them. Everyone has to, and next thing you know,
go on.
No, go ahead. It's alright.
Yeah, I still hope it will be different on Classic WoW because of the server size. I'm guessing we will go to a 3K population in the end.
I hope so.
Private servers had 10K population day and night sometimes, so that's way more. And I feel like a smaller population will solve a lot of those problems. I still agree with Melderon. I would rather not have them count in raids, but I hope that the smaller population and like maybe 2 or 3 guilds who actually clear those raids on a server will.
Whoa!
Got a dono, dude. You got a fan. Ike Sulzberg with the A10. Good morning from Tasmania, guys.
Tasmania.
Damn,
dude. That's awesome, dude.
Not to be ignorant, but where's Tasmania at again?
It's an island north of
Australia. That's right.
Southeast.
Great to see you back, Melderon.
Thinking of North of Mage.
The Tasmanian Devils,
Tasmanian
dude.
Devils
Tasmanian Devils, yeah. They're actually they're like a scientific anomaly. I was reading about them one time.
Dude, those things are brutal. Absolutely insane, those things, man. Phew.
Yeah, that's cool. Thank you very much, man.
But I think an overarching, theme with all this, right, is like whether it's the world buffs, whether it's the layering. What do you guys think? Like, I mean, a pure copy and paste of vanilla WoW was never going to happen, right? It was never going to be like. It was never going to happen.
Never going to happen.
So, how happy are you guys so far with how everything has been implemented? I mean, I'll start for it. I log on to Classic, to the beta, and I do feel like I'm playing Classic WoW for the most part, right? I feel it's so much fun playing with friends.
You feel like you're playing on private servers. Because honestly, who the hell remembers the experience?
Right.
Dude?
I mean, we remember a little bit.
I remember to an extent.
Really?
I do a little bit. Yeah.
Private servers have totally destroyed my any memory I've had of vanilla WoW. Any.
Yeah, I will say this though, it does, it feels very smooth, like compared to, I know it's a meme when I started, but smooth, right? It's very different compared to private servers, I would say, in a few ways though. When it comes to like visually, some of the things, but the gameplay feels good, right? The wanding is clean, the wanding is great. I'm a big fan of the wanding and the animations and all on point. But in all seriousness, like it does feel pretty good. Now, however, there are some things like the layering and all this that are a little bit, of an issue. But when it comes down to it, I am pretty happy with how things have turned out. How do you guys feel?
Yeah. Let me jump in here. Okay, so I'm not gonna say anything, but there was a fresh today. There was a fresh today, and people participated and said fresh. It happened. It's a thing. Some of you might be freshening it up right now. I don't know as you're watching this, but yeah, there's no going back to private servers, man. Like, they feel ass. Like it's and on this fresh, the leveling meta was that it was the dynamic respawns cranked up to 10 Defcamp. So like everybody just sits on a spawn and it immediately comes back to life almost immediately, and very few people are doing quests, and you just stand there just killing the mob over and over and over again. And there was also this kind of like delay. Well, I was observing this delay, of course, right? There's kind of a little bit of delay. It feels so buttery smooth on Classic. It's so hard. It's like you just can't go back private. It just feels bad.
Well, I actually agree with Volcane and North on the mechanical part of it. I do think private servers are mechanically more tighter than Classic.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Things were more set aside. I feel like a huge thing, and like the whole thing about wanding was never smooth, like to the way where it felt like you hit the I was talking mostly about the animations. The animation was a big thing to me, but like so I feel like when wanding, like okay, me and Kargoz talking about this, how like you have that weight, that initial weight when you're feeling for something, and that was the spell batching, right? But yeah, there are things that happen that are like it has this almost wonkiness feel to it, and I think that's because they've tried to recreate the original vanilla way of things, and not the private server. Like you said, private server definitely were a lot more fine-tuned, and I think that was good for a lot of people.
Dungeon difficulty.
Melderon can't stand the easy dungeons, man.
I hate them,
dungeons.
Yeah. They seem really bad, honestly. I want to try them out.
I have to say, so... sorry, go ahead. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, to answer your question, how happy am I with what we see so far? Actually, I just play on the Blizzard Classic server, and I could be happier with many things, but I will be super happy when it finally launches. And just the fact that it's a Blizzard server and it's not a private server, that is basically the biggest thing. So I think they are doing a pretty good job. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good.
There's some stuff that is like unacceptably scuffed still on the beta. Like I have to say though, like if they rolled this out, it would be buttery smooth on a private server. But I mean, the pets in general are just omega scuffed right now across the board. Hunter pets, warlock pets, they're
like what? Like what?
They're
what
just terrible, dude. Like just basic use case stuff. You killing one mob, the mob's almost dead, so you send your pet to the next mob. As soon as that first mob dies, the pet comes back every time. For some reason, it just ignores you. Also, sometimes they just ignore you. Also, it could be the tiniest little crevasse of LOS, like just not even a hard puzzle to figure out. And you're telling your pet, just go over the thing and fight it. It's right there. Like, just go over the thing, engage the target. And there's zero response. Like doesn't come back to you. Also, when obviously the warlock pet skills completely resetting, having to buy the grimoires again. But I'm sure obviously that's gonna get fixed.
Yeah, now how much of this though? Like, a lot of this fine tuning stuff that we're used to is because, like Melderon says, we are so used to how things were on private servers.
Played on for 4 years straight, dude.
Dude, and I honestly feel like yes, there are some buggy things that still aren't correct. But I honestly feel like Classic right now, the way it is, so many people who have played on private servers are like, no, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. But it's literally what we're used to on private servers. And I've been corrected time and time again by a lot of people who never played private servers and do play Classic. Like, no, this is how it was. Like, you are remembering things from private servers. Like, things were so much more finely tuned. A lot of these things happened back in vanilla. A lot of these things were much wonkier, were much different. And, like, I know you think it's not that, but I'm telling you 100%.
Okay.
A lot of it is.
Okay. So I gotta be more open-minded if that's actually how it was.
I'm not saying everything. Yeah. But I'm saying a lot of it is.
Okay, that makes sense. I'll have an open mind now. Like, thinking about it. Some stuff is 100% bugged though. Like the warlock pet abilities will reset randomly. I don't understand why, but you'll just lose all of the ranks of all your grimoires, and you just want to delete your character. That happens still. Growl doesn't go off even if it's on autocast. For some reason, they don't growl. I'm not sure why. Yeah. But I will have an open mind for sure. Like what Melderon said, 100% on point. You know, we can't get skewed by our private server experience and just. I
mean, there's going to be stuff that I'm going to say is wrong and it's not wrong. It happened in the video.
To me, yeah.
Yeah, that's
true.
The
video I made where it's like, blah, blah, I said something and people are like, it was never like that, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't remember. So I can. That's why I said in that video I made, I can only provide you feedback from my private server experience. I don't remember a goddamn thing, dude. Like I don't remember where I honestly can't tell you where I was living. I was living when it first came out.
We were living at our house on
yeah, but I wasn't there when it first came out though. I think I was living somewhere else.
No, you were living with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. There's this memory is a very weird thing, you know, because if you don't remember something fully, your brain kind of fills the gaps, you know.
True.
And private servers is filling that gap for a lot of things, and like I'll admit, like you know, but there are a lot of things like that are different, right? Like first of all, when you first load in, you notice that the sky looks different, the colors look different. From what I remember, and from like obviously from private servers, but that is something that they admitted is not going to be able to like be 100%. Like they talked about, the night setting and all this. Like for some reason still I don't know why, but like I haven't heard anything about that. I didn't hear anything about like the day and night setting. Like why isn't nighttime actually nighttime? Like I don't like that. You know what I mean? And the animations. That's another big thing that I'm still big on. So like the smite animation, a lot of these spell animations are completely off, completely wrong. They're not the way they should be. And these are things that I hope do get changed, but a lot of them, they said that like, there's no way for them to 100% recreate some of that shit. So that's kind of upsetting, but I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with a lot of that stuff. But, when it comes to like the gameplay mechanics of it, yeah, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done, but I think there are some things that are the way they should be, and but
yeah,
I think there's still definitely a lot of work that needs to be done. That's why we're in the beta. But like overall, like my overall feeling of everything, and how things are going, because a lot of it like is nice because you see that bugs are being fixed, bugs are being fixed, right? A lot of these things that we bring to their attention has been changed already. Like a lot of the stuff that I've talked about, buffing this and the other, buffing, putting hots on people going into combat, all that kind of shit has definitely been worked on, has been fixed. But I think there's still a long way to go. But overall, I feel like things are moving in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, what is your fun level when you play the beta? Like when I play the beta, my fun level is off the Richter scale. Like I'm having massive levels of fun. Like the fun levels are huge. I don't know. It's great. So despite all of these little things we're talking about, we're having a great time.
Absolutely, yeah, 100%.
At least personally, the stress test was so much fun, man. That stress test.
Have you guys seen the bug normalization fix that's been happening? The attack speed, the instant attack normalization.
No. Yes.
We should watch this. We should look at this, Kargoz, when you get a chance. So this is Meiji. Meiji's a big brain theory crafter and tester, and he actually posted this on the Classic WoW forums. We should definitely look at this.
Okay.
Basically, everyone was doing more damage than they should have been.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You look at it right now?
Yeah. Sorry, I put it in chat. Sorry, I'll put it over here.
Okay.
Here it is.
It's a forum post, huh? Okay. Okay, here we go. Bug.
No, melee is not getting buffed. North.
Bug instant attack normalization. All right, man. I see numbers. I'm gonna leave it with you, man. I don't know how to do this, bro.
So essentially, from what I understand, melee was being buffed anywhere between 6 to 9%. Yeah. So that is going to be removed. So they were using BFA modifiers for this. So look at the summarizing the following table. It says two-handed 3.3, Legion multiplier 3.6. All you need to know is that they were using the Legion modifier instead of the vanilla modifiers. So basically your damage was higher.
So TLDR, melee was doing too much damage.
Yes. And that was thanks to Meiji. He caught this.
Yeah.
And
wow.
Yeah.
This guy's kind of a legend then. That's big place.
Oh, he's a legend, dude. Meiji's a legend. Like, he is ridiculous, dude. The amount of stuff he tests is it's amazing.
Damn.
So did this fix that?
Yeah, I don't know when they're gonna implement the change, but they will say they're gonna do it.
So that could be. I mean, like, yeah. I think that's. There definitely are a lot of things that need to be worked on still. I think that's like pretty clear, and I hope that the majority of it does. But I think there are going to be some things that slip through the cracks, and end up not being fixed until, because like I don't know about you guys, but when I log on and you start to realize just how much shit there is that actually has to like go through the dev team. There is so much, dude. Like vanilla WoW, when you think of all like the PvP, the leveling, all these things that encompass all of it, there is literally so much that they have to work on. And I kind of realized that like one of the first days I logged on the beta, and to see how much they've done so far did impress me, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But there's still, like I said, there's still a long way to go for a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, Val, it's not gonna have a huge effect on dungeon meta. The dungeons are pretty easy. So that's 6 to 9% only for melee classes. It's not going to change any of the casters. It's not going to, So
well, no, there's range too, right? It's got to be hunters, right? Hunters getting affected. Range.
Oh, and hunters, right? Yeah, hunters, yes. But like,
so physical damage, pretty much.
Not that much. Yeah.
Yeah, physical damage.
So.
All right.
No, it's a large amount, but I'm talking about the damage output of the elite mobs is the issue, right? I'm not having to heal. That's the problem, as far as I'm concerned. Right. As far as dungeons. I don't think it's a damage issue. I think it's a damage being taken issue.
It's an intake issue, not outtake. Yeah.
So they are sure that's not bugs, right?
Everyone.
I mean, those are probably the vanilla values, dude.
It's strange.
Yeah. So I want to transition, if you guys are cool with it, because I just want to do, we can all just jump in with random little tips here. I've learned some stuff, some cool stuff, some revelations here that might help you guys leveling and also on fresh. Like kind of productive stuff that actually might help.
Hell yeah.
So let me just jump right into it. All right. So while I was walking through Ratchet the other day on the beta, I went to a vendor to go sell some stuff, and I came to a stark realization. Melderon, Dunedain, Defcamp. You guys are familiar with the starting food and water, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Refreshing spring water. Tough jerky. Yeah. There's probably a couple other ones in there. The little yellow one.
Yeah.
How much do these cost at the vendor? Chat, you guys can answer too. How much do those cost at the vendor?
What, the drinks?
Yeah, the food and water, the base food and water, right?
It's silver or a couple silver.
It's 20 silver for moonberry juice without the reputation.
The very starting water. The
what, 50 copper or something like that?
Water. I don't buy water at that level.
25. It's like 30 copper for a stack or something like that.
It's 25 copper. All right, it's 25 copper. Okay, to get refreshing spring water. And a lot of people who like leveling, or like are good at leveling, they like to level quick. That you will know that every 10 levels, starting level 5, so 5, 15, 25, 35,
you get new water.
You get new water and food, right?
Yeah.
One of the best ways to increase your leveling speed is to buy those, even if they're very expensive. Even mages, they don't even use their own damn water. They use it just to get a few ticks if they aren't really fully depleted. But if you're you're gonna try and use that juicy new water, right? So buying new food and new water, food is very important on a warrior, right? This is important. This is important stuff, right? So the starting food and water cost 25 copper. Okay. So the level 5 food is the next rank of food up, and food and water. Those
milk, right? Yeah.
Those are 1 silver, 25 copper, right? Those are kind of expensive. Yeah. So when you're leveling up, you try to get ice cold milk, and it's gonna help you with your mana, or you try and get the I think it's the bread. The next one up, it's the bread, right? And it's 234 food. Mm-hmm. Oh, 243 food. 243 food, right? Those cost 1 silver, 25 copper. They're actually pretty expensive. And as you're leaving the starting zones or you're going into barons, you try and buy some, and you're tight on money, right? For some reason, there is one food that's level 5 food, 243.6 health over 21 seconds, the Long Jaw Mud Snapper. And you can buy it from select vendors, fishermen, and some innkeepers for 20 copper. Wow. It is cheaper than the cost of the starting base food and water. It is cheaper by 5 copper than the 61 health. Let me try to go to the tough jerky to show you the difference of this. Let me show you. This is a big deal. I know people are probably laughing right now, but it's a big deal.
No, that's honestly, dude. That's something I never realized.
Look at this. Yeah. Tough jerky.
I usually sell that shit as a priest.
61.2 health over 18 seconds cost 25 copper. 61.2 health over 18 seconds. Longjaw Mud Snapper, 243.6 health over 21 seconds, 20 copper, cheaper than that.
Wow.
Everybody needs to be buying this, guys. Everybody needs to be buying this. It's actually super juicy.
I need you to tell me a water that's cheaper.
Oh, it doesn't exist. This is the only food that I've seen. This is the only consumable food or water I've seen that is for some reason underpriced. It's very interesting to me.
Yeah, I guess this is a speed level thing because I don't eat or drink probably until like level 20, until 25.
Damn.
Well, because I'm a shaman. I regen mana from mob to mob.
True. But sometimes you can go more aggressive, and try and dump mana.
You know me. I'm not gonna.
Shit while he's regenning while he's skinning and mining. So
I do not level in any competitive or fast way. I level at the speed I want to level, and I don't do that. But I respect people who do. I just don't do it. Yeah.
Okay. It's a silver cheap. See, North even North didn't know. See, dude, this is juicy. Everybody go buy this. It's actually really good. All right, so that's the first thing I want to say. Next thing is blood shards of Agamagan.
Oh yeah.
Agamagan. Okay.
Turn that shit into that dude at Camp Taurajo.
Oh, Camp Taurajo, yeah.
Yeah, so you can get these buffs, right? These buffs are solid, but so most of the buffs, right? Strength, agility, whatever, they last for 30 minutes. They cost four shards. Some of them cost 10 shards, but the ones that give you stats, it gives you like 10 agility, 10 strength, cost 4 shards, right? The real sleeper one though, dude, 4 shards, you get 25 spirit.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
And you can get these from mining. You don't even have to get these from the quill bore. If you're just mining ore, you're gonna have a couple stacks of these, and you have this clutch bank and ratchet. This is big plays, guys. If you're on the horde side, save your blood shards and get specifically the spirit buff, 25 spirit, right?
25 spirit is huge at low level.
You're a priest too, right? It's massive,
oh my
dude.
God.
25 spirit.
Huge.
If you're a warrior,
a lot of spirit.
If you're a warrior and you're leveling solo, you best believe you better get some Longjaw Mud Snappers and some blood shard spirit buffs, man. Let me tell you right now.
Here's something a scroll, a #1 scroll of spirit only gives 3 spirit. Consider that 3 spirit to 25. That's huge, dude.
It's huge. This is look, increases spirit by 25, man. It's crazy. Okay,
and so you're gonna pick up so many of these friggin' things from those quests too.
And and they're not soulbound too. They're not soulbound. You can trade them. You can buy them. Yep. This is so worth it, Defcamp, that like even if you're going into Stone Talon, you're going into Freewind Post later, you always pass by Camp T a lot of the time, right? Stop in with some blood shards, pick up 25 spirit. It lasts 30 minutes.
Everyone uses it for that speed bonus, though. Everyone wastes it. It gets the speed bonus, but it only lasts like what?
5 minutes. 5 minutes. Yeah. Yep. And it costs 10 shards. It costs 10 shards for the speed, Defcamp. 10 shards. Not worth.
That's why
you're gonna level quicker with the spirit. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I have more, but okay, people saying we gotta wrap up. Okay.
So the reason I have to wrap up is we have to eat dinner, and I do not trust my mom cooking steaks on the grill, so I have to make sure she doesn't overcook them. So I hope you guys realize that steak is a very important thing.
It is.
But yeah, we have to have dinner anyway. So yeah.
You got anything else real quick though, Kargoz?
I mean, I could, but I don't want to keep you guys from dinner. I mean, I could. All right, there's one big one.
If you want to go, I'll stay on for a little bit.
I can just go. You guys can stay on. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
It's fine. Do you guys have any? What have you learned from Fresh or Dunedain? Maybe have any tips for people going into it or Defcamp? I don't want to keep.
I will say one thing. Like for me, as a priest, 100% guys, like go wand specialization first. Do not worry about spear tap, especially if you can get some good spear gear, right? Like the wands are so strong at the 1.12 wands. Okay, like lesser magic wand, greater magic wand. I never had to drink, really at all because of how powerful that wand is. Once you get those wands, you're putting, maybe a mind blast, maybe to start off with Shadow Word Pain and wanding, and that is it. You do not need to drink. So go ahead, put those first 5 points into wand spec. I'm telling you guys, like a lot of people like to go back and forth or do spirit tap first. Do wand spec first, 100%. Utilize cannibalize as much as you can as an undead is another thing, right?
What about that troll though? I know it's been growing on you a little bit, dude. Berserking Heal, Curse of Weakness.
Very nice. Yeah, Curse of Weakness is nice, but I'm still undead all the way, man.
Okay.
Still undead all the way. They're both, but troll and undead are both very good. But like I said, do wand spec first, then go into spear tap. But another thing is like, I never realized just how good, like, of course, spirit is just so good for so many classes. But like, even in that little, as an undead, you start off with more intellect and more spirit, and it's literally not even that much. But that little bit that you start off more with as an undead priest makes a huge difference. Huge difference with regen. Like I was regenning so much faster as undead than troll in the early levels. didn't even really, and it's literally like a 4 or 5, maybe I think a 6 spirit difference, and I think 4 intellect difference. So you have
the intellect you definitely feel like as a troll mage. A troll mage can cast 2 at level 1, can only cast two spells, whereas opposed to the other mages can cast 3. But
undead can cast like 3 smites, 4 smites. Yeah, it makes a huge difference. So realize these little things as you're leveling. If you're playing undead, you might have and like I said, undead have that little bit better start. They have cannibalize. So these little things I've noticed, like a troll was actually a little bit harder than undead in the early levels, and it's something that I think is really, really notable to take into consideration if you're trying to level.
That's interesting. It's interesting. I feel like Horde has a little bit better ratios for leveling and stuff.
For leveling? Yeah, probably. Yeah.
For other things as well, but except for Dwarf Priest, of course. But...
Dwarf Priest, yeah.
You have any secret sauce? Okay. None of those?
No,
okay.
I'm not like a min-max leveler. I'm more like the Melderon. I level slowly. I skin, I mine, I herb, I fish, I cook.
I guess I'm kind of in the middle. Like I like to level relatively quick, but I also like to take my time. You know what I mean? Like I like to try to get ahead of the curve, and then kind of like relax. You know what I mean? Like okay, now I'm ahead of the curve. I can do my own thing. Like I'm more of the kind of guy like I'm gonna just go on my own and do something and do this. But on my alt, like I'm gonna try to go a little bit faster on my main, but on my alt, I'm 100% gonna take my time. I will say this: if you plan on dual leveling, like Kargoz and I were doing, share your resources, right? It's so helpful. Like inventory, dude. Oh my god, like his gain is your gain. So like one thing is like I went tailoring, Kargoz went enchanting. Like that was huge right there. Being able to go off each other. So now imagine like if he's leveling, say he's leveling, blacksmithing or I'm sorry, mining and engineering, right? And I'm doing tailoring and enchanting. So I'll tell him, dude, like save all your extra mining mats for when I hit level 60. You can give all that to me. I'll give all whatever you else, and like so that I can power level my engineering when I get to 60. Like little things like that, being able to work with someone and like look at these things and take advantage of having someone else, and then look at what you can give him free enchants, give him free bags, do all this shit, and then when he's level 60, he'll be able to help you out with all the mats that you need to power level your engineering.
Yep. Well said.
It's probably a stupid question, but I always feel like alchemy is really, really good for leveling. Do you feel like it's needed to go faster to have alchemy?
What I've learned is that if you pre-plan your route and you know exactly what to do for herbalism, like how to skill it really effectively, the layout of the nodes, what materials you do need, what to hang on to, what stuff you can purchase in advance at the alchemy vendor so you can make stuff while you're out. If you min-max, you can make professions very, very valuable. It's something that I'm learning with each passing month of this, and you'll see some people. You asked me a year ago, I'd be like, dude, skip all the professions. That was me as a hunter player, dude. I'm just fuck it. Just fill your bag with ammo, go out there and kill shit, and then once you get to 60, go to Maradon and just have a ding dong, call it a day. Like that's it. But like it's very different. Like I'm learning now. I'm playing the game in different ways now. I think if you really do your homework and you min max it, you can make these professions very, very valuable for you.
Yeah.
Like even right now with mining, I'm finding all kinds of accelerations. Like having mining in the Barrens, dude. I don't think you understand. Defcamp. I was like level 16 on my troll mage I made on the beta, right? Didn't kill a single quill boar and had like 30 blood shards. And I'm just thinking to myself, dude, you know how many buffs I'm gonna get with this? Like I'm gonna get so many buffs with these, and I'm not even really trying. I'm just mining. I'm at the bottom of the oasis, just get a copper thing there. Yeah. I had so many. So. That's what I will say. Someone is asking, when do you get bags? Every time I go to the crossroads, there's a bag vendor there, right? And if you have 5 silver extra, definitely buy it. It will pay for itself in a few minutes, dude. It will definitely pay for itself in a few minutes. One thing, it doesn't matter if you're a speed leveler, it doesn't matter if you like that, if you don't like that. This is something that's going to help all of you, though. All of you, including Dunedain, including Melderon, including everyone, because nobody likes doing this. I'm pretty sure at this point, you can set up a file to drop in your WTF folder so that when you go into the real thing in Classic WoW, you can hit the ground running and have all of your binds set up, have everything set up on your action bars in advance, as long as you have the same character name. And that is one massive thing that is like a pain point on a fresh server. Everybody's sitting there for the first couple minutes doing their binds, and that if you don't log out after you're on that fresh server, if you get DC'd because the server goes down for a second, you're going to come back in and all your binds will be reset again. It's an absolute nightmare. You can do that right now. If you're in the beta or not, you can set up your folder so that game launches, you create your bank alt, you create your main, you drop this in your WTF folder, and you're good to go. You hit the ground running, man. That's all, you know.
Yeah, that's like, another thing too, the Kargoz that you really opened my eyes on, like, was the strategic dying. We saved so much time that one time when we went to the crossroads, dying like right in the water, right outside of, you know, when you first get to the Barrens. That's like a good 5-minute walk. You know, like knowing when to strategically die is fucking huge. Huge. And like I never really just realized how much time you can save by doing that. So that's something that you gotta, you know, you don't want to do it all the time, and like, but there are some times where you can literally cut off like 5 or more minutes off of your walking.
Those starting levels, those first levels, are where you can really make your money and get ahead of the pack, because that's when you can make use of that tactical dying, and then you start dealing with long rest sickness in the later stages. Like, that's your chance to get ahead. That's why people put so much time and energy into min-maxing the 1 to 10, the 1 to 12, because you can really make your money there if you know what you're doing. Yeah. All right, guys. Anything else? Do you have any final things you want to wrap up?
I think for the most part, you know, just make sure you get your wand, and if you have extra, you know, and you feel nice, you know, share them, because those 1.12 wands, man, those lesser magic wands make a huge difference for a lot of classes. So, definitely go ahead and get those wands.
I'm super tired from the exams, and so
I
guess we should wrap up.
Okay. All right, let's wrap up then. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us again on another episode of Good Morning Azeroth. We really do appreciate your continued support and viewership, especially in these times right now. The hype is a little bit low. We're here for you guys. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, we are here for you guys. We're just a Discord message away. We appreciate it. If you're not subbed to Dunedain, you're wrong. You got it. Like, you're wrong, bro. Like, where can they find you on YouTube, Dunedain? I know you're not streaming at the moment, but we got to get you some more peeps over there.
Link YouTube and the Discord channel. So here's the Discord channel, and YouTube is.
All right, join his Discord. If you're EU, don't feel bad, man. Like, you got a great community over here. I know you guys, the hype's a little bit low in EU. You know,
I recently, last week, I got. Actually, a few days ago, I got 500. That was my goal before Classic.
500 subs?
Hell yeah, brother.
Good
Hell
shit.
Yeah, dude. Congratulations,
Congrats, man. Congrats.
Thank you.
Well deserved, dude.
Congrats,
Very
man.
well deserved.
I'm going to try and stream a little bit, but I cannot stream if I can't play the game, right? So.
I know. Well, you can talk about it like we.
Yeah.
And if you ever want to come on to one of our, I will be a KM. Yes, I will be. I'm gonna have dinner real quick, and then I'll be streaming. So.
Yeah, not today. I'm almost sleeping on my chair right now.
Okay. He's been upgrading exams. All right, so we're gonna wrap it here. I'm gonna pass it off to OG Jeffrey, the man, the myth, the legend, the other Magoose. We're gonna do a Magus cast tomorrow. If North is still here, Magus cast tomorrow. Another podcast tomorrow. Dope podcast, mage related podcast. Dope podcast. It's on North the Mage's channel. That's tomorrow, around the same time as this. Is what I'll say. Also, if you want to join the guild, applications to the guild in the Discord. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are out. See you guys next time.
All right, guys. I'll see you guys in a little bit.
Bye.
See ya.